Hare Krishna, can you all hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, Prabhu, we'll start with prayers. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thanks for joining the call today. So today we shall continue from the point where Valmiki Maharshi, they all plan to go to Mithila city. So yesterday we discussed about the appearance of Lord Sita Devi, and we also discussed about the bow, the huge heavy bow of Lord Shiva, how it came to the Janaka's palace. And Sita Devi was very easily able to handle that bow just with her finger. Just like a keychain, she used to rotate the entire bow in her finger. Okay. So now Vishwamitra Muni, he is taking Rama and Lakshmana to the Mithila city. And what is he saying to them? He's saying that that Janaka Maharaj, who is the father of Sita Devi, he is doing a great sacrifice. And we all are going to see that sacrifice. So there are approximately 100 carts, 100 bullock carts that were loaded with various ritual paraphernalia. So when these sages, when they go from forest or from various ashrama, they get all these paraphernalia which are required for the yajna. Because at each intervals of the yajna, they have to offer a particular kind of wood. So that wood is again is available in the forests only. So they cut all those wood, and where there are other herbs which are used, which there are particular spices. We call them as spice, but as per the Ayurveda, it is never called as spice. It's always called as aushadhi. So we call cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, star anise, all of them as spice. But as per the Ayurveda, they are called as aushadhis, herbs or medicinal herbs. So all these medicinal herbs, they are basically available in the forest. So these rishis, they collected all those different medicinal herbs and all the paraphernalia required for the yajna, and they loaded 100 carts. And these carts were all going to Mithila city. So Valmiki Muni and the other sages, along with the 100 carts, they started walking away from the ashram. And as soon as Vishwamitra Muni, he was walking. So as soon as Vishwamitra Muni started walking away from the ashram, all the inhabitants of the ashram, the birds, the animals in all the surrounding areas of the ashram, they started following Vishwamitra Muni. So after walking some distance, then Vishwamitra Muni, he stopped and he looked at them and said and ordered them that please don't follow me. You all have to be here. So all these animals and birds, they returned again to their forests. So that is the power of a great sage, especially a Brahmarshi. So in rishis also, in sages also, there are different levels. One is rishi, then there is a person called as Rajarshi, then he becomes a Maharshi, then he becomes Brahmarshi. So these are the different stages. And Vishwamitra Muni's life will, very soon I will explain about his life, how he advanced himself in the various levels of rishis. So even the same thing would happen even to Vasishta Brahmarshi. So these great sages are so pacified that even the animals, the birds, they would also become satisfied and very pacified. In those ashramas, the animals which have enmity, natural enmity, by nature they have, like the snake is an enemy for frog. But in such ashramas, even a snake would give shelter to a frog. So those are such rishis, such great sages. So automatically, when that great sage was moving out of the ashram, the animals and the birds, they all followed, but on the order, they returned back. Now, for that day, they were walking and they reached the banks of the Shona river. And they thought of camping there for the night. So in the evening, they all took bath in the river. They performed their evening sadhana, and they all gathered around Vishwamitra Muni. At that time, Lord Rama, he asked him, "My dear Guru Maharaj, this place is very nice. It's very beautiful. The forest is very beautiful." That means it is Sattva Guna forest. The trees and plants are so good. What is this place? Could you please tell us? So Vishwamitra Muni, he started narrating the history. So he started narrating the history that now there was, my dear Rama, there was a great personality in my family lineage. His name is Kusha. And he is a Brahma Manasa Putra, that is born from the mind of Brahma. This Kusha had a wife, and her name is Vaidarbhi. So together, Kusha and Vaidarbhi, they gave birth to 4 sons. That is Kushanga, Kushanabha, Adhoktarajasa, and Vasu. And once Kusha, he called his sons and he instructed them to build 4 cities. So Kushanga, he built this kingdom or the big city called Kaushambi. Kushanabha, he built the city called Mahodaya. Adhoktarajasa, he built the city called Dharmaranya. And Vasu, he built the kingdom called Girivraja. So right now, Rama, we are in the kingdom called Girivraja. It is built by the 4th son, and his name is Vasu. So this place is surrounded by 5 best, the greatest mountains. They have very high peaks. And this river Shona, on which we're all standing, the banks, so it enters the Magadha province and it's flowing amidst these 5 mountains, which looks like as if there is a garland worn by these mountains. And since it enters through Magadha province, this river is also called as Magadhi. So now, just because, see, Rama, he just asked what this place is. Now he goes on telling about his family. The moment he spoke about his family, he remembered his various other, his family members, his grandparents. And he started telling the great things, what happened in their family. So, my dear Rama, Kushanabha, who is the second son, through an Apsara. The Apsara's name was Grathachi. So he became the father of 100 babies, 100 girl babies. And because these girls were born out from the denizens of the heaven, they were very naturally very beautiful. And each of them was decorated with selected, very auspicious, rare jewels and ornaments, and had a very nice dresses. So when they came to their youth, normally they all go to a various park within the fort. So they were singing and dancing, and they were playing various musical instruments. At that time, Vayudev, the demigod of the wind, he appeared there. And he saw demigod personification of the wind, demigod for the wind, Vayudev. He appeared there, and he looked at those girls, and he became very much attracted to their beauty, and he desired them to have them as his wives. So this Vayudev, he came to them and he said, you all have a very humanly bodies. And by the time all these bodies will deteriorate. So, but I like you all very much. So if you marry me, what will happen is, because I'm a demigod, I have the power that to make your youth eternal till the end, eternal in the sense till the end of the demigod's life. So your youth will stay as it is. So the moment he said, all the 100 girls, without even talking or discussing with each other, at once they replied that, my dear Vayudev, this is inappropriate. You should not ask us directly like this. You should have asked our father first, because it is the duty of my father to get us married. Then Vayudev got angry. So he became very angry. He went inside those 100 girls' bodies, and he made their bodies distort at every junction. So all their bodies were having bends and twists. Their bodies were distorted. Immediately, they all fell on the ground in the palace. So, we all are sustained by different vayus. Vayu is a different winds within our body itself. There are different kinds of winds. The wind component. Okay, let me tell you what are those. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, one is called Pranavayu, Apanavayu, Samanavayu, Udanavayu, Vyanavayu. Then there are 10 actually. Yeah, Prana, Apana, Udana, Samana, Vyana. Then there is secondary Vayus also. The Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta, and Dhananjaya. So as per the Ayurveda, we have these 10 kinds of Vayu, or the wind component in our bodies, that makes us, like everything straight. Like we do not have wrinkles on our face when we are young, but when we become old, we have all those wrinkles. Because one component of the Vayu, it deteriorates. So one of the Vayu, when the baby is born, it's called Shatha Vayu. The baby is pushed out of the womb of the mother using that Shatha Vayu. So there are different Vayu components within the human body. So since he is Vayu, demigod of the wind, he retrieved or pulled those vayus in different parts, and they all became distorted with bends and twists. So they all collapsed on the ground immediately. And with great difficulty, they dragged themselves to the palace. And when they came to the palace, their father, Kushanabha, he came there and he asked what happened. Then the girls narrated the whole story to their father. Then he said, "My dear daughters, you all have power to curse him back. Why didn't you do it?" Then they say in a very important verse. They said that if we start cursing for every wrong thing that happens in this world, do you think that there will be any existence or creation left, my dear father? If we start cursing for every wrong thing that happens, then will there be any existence or creation left? And as per the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada also mentions that there are 4 defects with anyone who is there in the material world. One defect is that he has got imperfect senses. Second defect is he can be illusioned. Third defect is he commits mistakes. So one of the defects is that he commits mistakes. So tolerating and forgiving him, my dear father, because of the tolerance and patience, we forgave him and we came back. And then he immediately said, "Yes, my dear daughters, you all are right. Because there is forgiveness, there is patience, and there is tolerance, the world is now existing." He said, "Kshama danam, kshama satyam, kshama yajnascha putrikaha, kshama yashaha, kshama dharmaha, kshamayam vishtitam jagat." This kshama or tolerance, forbearance, patience, forgiveness itself is charity. It is the truth. It has all the glory. And it is the part of your dharma. Kshamayam vishtitam jagat. The entire creation is sustaining only because of tolerance and forgiveness. So he felt very happy with this understanding of his daughters. And after some time, it was time for their marriage. So their father, they decided a bridegroom. And his name is Brahmadatta. So as a husband, Brahmadatta, he decided. So now the short story is mentioned, and who is this Brahmadatta? So there was a great sage. His name was Chuli. Okay, and he's always busy doing some penance or austerities in his hermitage. So in that ashrama, one day, a Gandharva girl. Nikhil Prabhu, it says that YouTube is live.
Oh, it is saying live. Okay, Prabhu. Let me see where it is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this Chuli, he was a great penance, and in that one in the ashrama, wherever he was staying, to that ashrama, one Gandharva girl, she came. Her name was Somada. And why did she come? She just wanted to come there and do some service to that sage. And she was very sincerely and obediently serving the sage. So after some time, being pleased with her service, the sage asked, "Why are you serving me so obediently and so nicely? Do you have any wish that you want me to fulfill?" Then she replied, "Yes. Could you please bestow me with a very righteous son, a son who is Dharmatma?" and who will be very expert in Vedas and who will be very spiritually advanced. Can you bless me with a son like that? So Chuli, he became very happy with her wish. And just with the power of his sankalpa, of the power of his mind, he blessed that girl with a boy, and whose name is Brahma Datta. And he was also the Manasa Putra of the sage. That means he with the power of his mind, he was able to give birth to that child. So Kushanabha, he gave all his 100 daughters to this sage Brahmadatta. Brahmadatta also agreed. So the Brahmadatta, the moment he received the, when the wedding function was done, the palm of the bride is kept in the hands of the groom. So the moment he received the hand of each girl, the air component in their body could no more distort their bodies anymore. And they regained all that beauty again. That's the power of the great sage. In front of the sage, even the demigods, they don't sustain. You will see so many demigods cursed by the sages. You will see as part of the Ramayana itself further. So one by one, each of them, they started regaining their original form of their bodies. So Somada, he felt very happy and he received all the 100 daughter-in-laws. Somada is a mother of Brahmadatta. So the mother-in-law was very happy to receive all of them. And she brought all of them to home. So Kushanabha was only having girls. He did not have a boy. So he performed a Putra Kameshtha Yajna, just like Dashratha Maharaj, to get sons. So with that, because of that Putra Kameshtha Yajna, Kushanabha was blessed with a son. His name was Gadhi. My dear Rama, who is saying this? Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra Muni is saying, my dear Ramachandra, this Gadhi is my father. Since I'm born in the dynasty of Kusha, I got this name as Kaushika. And I have an elder sister. Her name is Satyavati. And she was married to Ruchika Maharshi. So when her husband Ruchika Maharshi, when he left this world and he left for the upper planetary systems, she also followed with her body. She also followed her husband. You see, that was a power of a woman. Women don't have to do any kind of tapasya, austerity. If a woman is chaste to her husband, her power will be as equivalent as a great tapasvi or a great sage. Automatically she would get that power. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Mahabharata that there is no separate, only for men, there are so much of tremendous amounts of austerities are there. But for women, just faithfully following her husband will itself make her, if she's chaste enough, she'll become very powerful. So Satyavati, when her husband left, she followed her husband along with the body. And because of her power, before leaving, she was desiring to do something good for the world. She emerged with her divine powers as a river called Kaushiki in Himalayas. So there's a river called Kaushiki. So Vishwamitra Muni is saying, because I have a very deep affection for my sister, I built my hermitage on her banks. So, my dear Rama, whatever you have asked, I have now narrated all that story about my family and the lineage. Now it has become very dark. So, no, it's almost past midnight now. Now go and get some sleep. So Rama and Lakshmana, they were all thinking of various pastimes, what Vishwamitra Muni had said, and they slowly went into a deep sleep. So the next morning, uh, you know, Vishwamitra Muni, he woke up Lord Sri Ram. Again, he uses this. He says, Suprabhata Nisharama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te Gamanaya Bhirochaya. So Uttishta Uttishta Bhadram Te. So he was having the affection towards Rama and Lakshmana as a parent, parental affect, love. So he says, my dear Rama and Lakshmana, the night has passed and it is morning. Purva Sandhya. The sun is already risen. So please awake. So please get up. And when even before he says that you do the other work, he said, Bhadramte. Bhadram, that means you be safe, you be very safe. And you get ready for the further travel. So on hearing these words, Rama and Lakshmana, they woke up. They completed their morning rituals, duties, and their sadhana, and they got ready for the further travel. So from the banks of the Shona river, all the sages, Vishwamitra Muni and Rama and Lakshmana, they passed through many diverse forests. So after traveling for a half a day, they reached this mighty river Ganga again. So once they reached, they saw this mighty river Ganga, where when Vishwamitra Muni, he asked for Rama and Lakshmana from the Dasharatha Maharaj. So if in Ayodhya, so when they were passing from Ayodhya to this Vamana Dev's ashram, they crossed Ganga river once. And the second time again, they have reached the shores of Ganga. And on seeing that river Ganga with pure water, swans, various birds, immediately all the sages, along with Rama and Lakshmana, they felt very much delighted. So they all took bath in the river and they worshipped there. So these rivers, you see, Gange Chayamane Chaiva, Godavari Saraswati, Narmade Sindhu Kaveri, Jalesmin Sannidham Kuru. So this is the mantra which we all use to invoke these 7 rivers, auspicious rivers, which are mentioned in our scriptures. They're very auspicious. Even taking their names itself will purify you, taking or hearing those names. So such rivers, right, they are very highly potent, spiritually potent. So sages, they can understand, even if they don't know what river it is, initially they will understand that, oh, this is not a normal river. Like even in US also, there are so many rivers. But you know, if someone is little spiritual advanced, when a person sees the rivers here, and when he goes to Himalayas and sees the various tributaries of Ganga or Yamuna, they can find a difference. So the sages, they became very delighted. They all took part in the river. They worshipped there, and after they settled their camps around, and they all gathered around Vishwamitra Muni, including Rama and Lakshmana. Then Rama spoke to Vishwamitra Muni, my dear Guru Maharaj, I wish to hear about this river Ganga. How is she reaching this ocean? And how is that this river is flowing in all the three worlds? So the Ganga, which you see right now, is flowing on the middle planetary system, but she's also flowing in the upper planetary system and in the lower planetary systems. So how is she flowing in all the three worlds? So Vishwamitra Muni, then he started narrating the story. So this is not part of the Ramayana, but this is the part in the other Puranas, that Ganga is none other than the expansion of Viraja river. Viraja Nadi is a river that flows between the spiritual Vaikuntha planets and the material world. So Karanodakashaya Vishnu, there are three Vishnus which I explained. Karanodakashaya Vishnu, he's resting on that Viraja river. And all the Brahmandas which emerge out of his nostrils or from his bodily pores, they're all rested on this Viraja river. So we are under a Brahmanda, right? It is also resting on this Viraja Nadi. Now, when Vamanadev expanded, right, when the second step, when Bali Maharaj said, I'm giving you what all the remaining, the first step he gave the earth, the second step he gave all the upper and lower planetary systems. So Vamanadev expanded so much that he, with 1 foot, he covered the entire planetary systems. And with his toenail, he pierced the layers of this Brahmanda. At that time, the water which was there in the outside of this bubble that was in the Viraja Nadi, it flowed inside, and that became the Ganga. So Ganga river flew from the toes or the feet of Lord Vishnu. So that's why Ganga's place is considered to be always at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So now here he explains, Vishwamitra Muni, he further explains that there is a great mountain, Himavan, okay, who has the treasure of various minerals, and he married the daughter of Mount Meru, and her name is Mena. And both of them, they gave and they gave birth to two daughters called Ganga and Uma. So once upon a time, just to fulfill the divine purpose, the demigods and great personalities, they asked Himavan to spare Ganga so that she could flow in all the three worlds and deliver many souls. So, Ganga is the river. Again, she is considered to be the daughter of Himavan, Himavati, that's Himalayas, and Uma. Uma is none other than Parvati Devi. She was also born from them, and she performed great austerities to beget Rudra, that is Shiva, as her husband. So after Manmadha was killed, Parvati Devi, she married Shiva, and after their marriage, both of them, they went for a honeymoon. So this one actually, it talks about Kumara Sambhavam, Shanmukhotpatti or Kumara Sambhavam. And when they went for honeymoon, Tasya Sankridamanasya Mahadevasya Dhimatah Shitikanthasya Devasya Divyam Varshashatam Gatam Nachapi Tanayo Rama Tasyamasit Param Tapa. 100 divine celestial years have elapsed in the honeymoon. But even then they had no sons. Now all the demigods, they started worrying. Now, will there be anyone next who can sustain that living entity who will be born after such a long play of both Shiva and Parvati? This is unnecessary thinking. Okay, this is useless worry. Now they were worried that if see, Shiva himself is the greatest sage, very great. Now anyone coming, who is coming from his stages, he might be, even more greater. And can we all sustain him? This is all unnecessary thinking of demigods. So they all went to Kailasha and they shouted for Lord Shiva in a very sorrowful voice. And Lord Shiva, he heard and he came running. So he said, the demigods said, Shiva asked, what happened? And they said, see, you're all, right now you're enjoying with Parvati, but if you get a son from Parvati, we may not be able to tolerate that great energy or the tejas from that boy. So he said, okay, all right, I will withdraw my energies, but due to 100 years, celestial years, I've been enjoying with Parvati, my semen has moved from its place and it's going to come out. So tell me, where do you want me to leave it? Immediately they show on the earth. And so Shiva, he left his semen on the earth, but earth was unable to tolerate due to the heat and burning of out of that tejas, and it was burning the entire body of the earth, and she couldn't tolerate. Immediately she thought, whom should this be left? And he thought, okay, let me give it to the Agni Dev, because Agni Dev itself is very hot, so he can sustain this heat coming from the stages. And all this happened in few seconds. Now Parvati Devi, she came to know about this, and she cursed that none of the demigods will have any more kids, because say for a mother, the greatest thing would be to be with her husband, and the next greatest thing also would be to have to beget children from that husband. And you all have put all your unnecessary brains here and ask for a boon from Shiva. And she also learned that earth has accepted it. And she said, earth, you shouldn't have accepted this. So that is why you will not be the same all over your planet. There will be deserts, there will be fertile lands, there will be marshlands, etc. And all the kings will be your husbands. So this is a very difficult curse, that every son, every king will be Bhupati. That's why this name called as Bhupati has come. Bhumapati or Bhupati. Any king, he's called as Bhupati, husband of Bhu, of earth. And then when his son comes, he also becomes Bhupati. So, and then she, after cursing like this, she went away. But now there was a demon. His name is Tarakasura. He did tapasya to Lord Brahma that I don't want any death. So Brahma said, that's not possible. Then he said, okay, if that is not possible, then I should be killed by the son of Parvati and Shiva. because he got to know by this time, okay, now the Shiva has already given this boon, so he cannot take back that word. So he knew that there will be no son of Parvati and Shiva, and he was so powerful, so he was torturing all the demigods and other sages, and he cannot be killed. So all the demigods, they went to Brahma and they said, they shared their sorrows, and Brahma said, you see, Shiva's semen is still there with Agni. Now ask him to leave with Ganga, the sister of Parvati. Because of her, we may be able to get a son of Parvati. And this Narakasura, Tarakasura, if he comes to know all this plan is happening, then he'll immediately obstruct. And everything, all of these things should happen very carefully and in silence. So now they all requested Agni to go to leave this semen with Ganga. You see, to what level all the demigods have to degrade. Now they have to request, can you please accept this? So now they all went to Ganga and they had to request, can you please take the semen of Shiva and we get a child? And they said, to protect the three worlds, because this Tarakasura is coming and torturing us, we need someone. So all the 33 crores of the demigods, they are waiting to see what is going to happen next. Because if she doesn't accept, there's no other woman will ever accept. It's not a nice thing to go and ask each woman to accept. It's not a culture. So everybody is on stand, and they are awaiting for the full anxious. They're trying to see what is, if she's going to accept. But she said, okay, I will accept it. But the moment she accepted it, her water started boiling. And unable to accept that, Ganga said, I'm not able to accept it. It's burning my me, and it's boiling all my body. What should I do? Immediately Agni says, okay, you leave it at the foothills of Himalayas. And immediately she left it there, and it fell on the grass. Then a great effulgence came from that. But before that also, what happens is, the moment she dropped it there on the grass, all the demigods, they became morose. Oh, it's gone wasted. And they were anxious to see if any girl will, or any boy will be born. So slowly, a great effulgence came out from that place. And there was gold that appeared first. Then there was silver that was appeared, then copper, and all the metals also manifested from that place. But they couldn't find a son. But after some time, a child was born with 6 faces. And he started crying for milk. And immediately the demigods, they felt pacified. Now the child is crying. So the demigods, they requested the Kritika stars. There are Kritika, there are nakshatras, 6 Kritika nakshatras to give the milk. And Kritikas, they said, okay, if we give the milk, then he should be called as their son. They immediately blessed. Don't worry, he'll be your son. He'll be called as Kartikeya. And because he was born from the grass, he is called as Sharavana Bhava. Sharavana is grass, and he born out of that Bhava. Sharavana Bhava. Now, those who heard this story, okay, the Phalashruti is mentioned. Okay, even before that, I will say. So, after he was born, he came to immediately he came to the youth age, and because of the milk from Kritika stars, it was enough for him to give all the strength, and immediately he went to fight Tarakasura, and he killed Tarakasura. So Valmiki Maharshi, he writes the Phalashruti. That means what will happen if one who hears this, the sub-story. Eshate Rama Gangaya Vistarobihitomaya Maya Kumara Sambhavaschaiva Dhanyah Punyastathaiva cha Bhaktascha Yaha Kartikeye Kakutstha Bhuvibhanavaha Ayushman Putra Pautrascha Skandasak Lokyatam Vrajet. He says that if there are any problems, it will go away. The person will get good wealth, all material boons he has given. Meritorious, it will be anything you do will be meritorious. There will be longevity. Those who don't have sons, they will beget sons, grandsons, they will all be very happy. Ayushman Putra Pautrasha, you will get one full life. One may not die abruptly in between. Okay, so now one may ask that why was he born out of the grass? So for that, this story is from another Puran, where it is mentioned that this Kartikeya, or his name is Subramanya Kartikeya or Sharavana Bhava. He is, in his previous life, he was a great sage. And he was doing great tapasya. And once Shiva and Parvati, they came there to the place in disguise, and they were discussing something. And this boy, this sage, he could refute Shiva in all the philosophy and like in the matter of devotion. So Shiva became very pleased. See, if someone's son becomes more success than the father feels very happy. Similarly, he was very successful in understanding this devotion service. So he said, I wanted you to be my son. So the sage said, sure, I will be your son only. Then Parvati Devi said, what is this, your son only? How can he be born only to him? He said, no. He asked as boon, so I have to be. So I will be born only to him. Then Parvati Devi said, all right, if you have that, then why don't you at least be born in, I have another expansion as grass on that at the foothills of Himalayas. You be born there at least. Then he said, sure, I'll be born from that place. So that's why he emerged, or he manifested himself out of that grass. So now the next one that will start is Gangavataranam. And I think I'll stop here. Tomorrow we will discuss this Gangavatara. How Ganga Devi was. I just shortly gave you one thing, but how it was flowing in the upper planetary system, how it came to the lower planetary systems, that we will discuss tomorrow. Okay. All right. Any questions?